as a mentor and a coach to thousands of people at this point, as a kid who grew up addicted to crack, as a kid who had parents who were, drug addicts, right? As a kid who grew up with zero type of structure. When I look at the world, I get frustrated because I just don't understand it, I guess. See, I want people to win, but I realize that most people don't want to win. I want people to win, but I realize that most people they don't want to win. Because the truth is, if they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to, they would take the action steps. But what they do instead is they just talk about it. And it frustrates me because I have people reach out to me every day saying I want to change, I want to grow. How do I do this? And this is the part that really just destroys me because I know that as I engage with the majority of people, they're not real people. What do I mean? See, there's a concept of non-player characters and main characters, right? And a main character is somebody who is the owner of their life. They are exciting. They take action. They don't hesitate. They don't wait. They do things. They say, I'm going to go do something. They do it, right? They want to learn a new skill. They learn it. They want to learn how to snowboard. They learn how to snowboard. They want to learn how to play the drums or the piano or travel to a new place. They do it. They say they're going to start a business. They start the business, right? Like when they make a decision that they're going to begin something, they go for it. That's a main character. It's main character energy. They carry themselves well. They smell good. They take care of their body. They take care of their mind. They are focused on goals. That's what everyone I think talks about becoming. But then you have the non-player character. Now, a non-player character in a video game, for example, if you've ever played like Grand Theft Auto or like, The Sims or something, they're the people that sit and stand behind, certain booths or certain areas or in certain stores. Their job is not to do anything other than exist. They're just there as you navigate into the focus of a particular area. They come into screen, they come into focus because they're just to support you. They're there simply to support you. Unfortunately, and I don't mean this as an insult, but the majority of people are non-player characters. Non-player characters have jobs too. Non-player characters go to work. They have kids, they have families. See, it's not the same as a video game. They still exist physically, but somehow, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, they aren't real. Somehow they don't actually exist. Goals never get achieved. Potential is never met. Right? Like being this kid that grew up in this world, I grew up with a lot of I wouldn't even call them friends, I'd say people. I grew up with a lot of people, some of them friends, most of them acquaintances, that here we are 22 years later are exactly the same. They never changed. Same jobs, similar job, same mindset, same thought process. Still want handouts. They still think somebody owes them something. They could have done something great, but they never did. They didn't do it in high school. They never went to college. They didn't do it at their job. Entitled, offended, but accountable to nothing. And this is the loop. This is the hole. This is the black hole of society in which we live in, is that so many people are that person there. That person who simply is not the man in the arena. They're simply not the person who is on the field. They're not the person who's in that space creating, building, shaping. They're just criticizing. They're just complaining. They're just critiquing. They're just talking. They're observing. They're hearing, but they're not listening. They're watching, but they're not truly seeing. See, That's the problem with so many people, the men and women in this world in which we live in. The Bible tells us, woe to those who say that good is evil and evil is good, that trade darkness for light and light for darkness and bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who sit here in this world knowing that there are things that are wrong, they don't do anything about it, knowing that there are things that should be done, they don't do. There's things that need to be accomplished, they don't accomplish. They just talk, they just complain, they just critique. I guess I'm saying all that to say that there's a pattern to those who win and those who don't win. The pattern is that those who win, they go all the way. They go all in. Those who win, they become main characters. Those who win, they become main characters. They take ownership. And when they say they're going to do something, they do it. See, when I was a kid, I had to have a plan because if I didn't, I knew that I was not going to survive. I knew at the age of 12 that I needed to have a job. And I had been working since I was 12. Not because I wanted to save up, not because I wanted to put money in a piggy bank or my dad told me about money or rich dad and poor dad. No, it was because I needed money. See, when I was 12 years old, 13 years old, when I was looking for Christmas presents for my parents, like what was I going to get my mom and dad? Well, they were drug addicts. And we had such an open, honest relationship, which I'm blessed to have had with them. But the gift that I intended to get them, I wanted to order them custom glass crack pipes from one of these order online magazines I used to have where you could buy different things, knives and different paraphernalia. Like that's the type of world in which I grew up in. And so I knew that I needed to work. I needed to have a life. I needed to build something. There's a lot of people who just never have that awakening. They never recognize that. They never even try. I don't know why. They never actually go all in. And what you find is people who then later in life, they build a resistance to starting. They're incapable of beginning. They feel like they're too far gone to even really dive into it at a high or deep level. They don't want to begin because then the chances of failing become too real. And so I'm telling you that to say this part here. No matter what area you're in life, no matter what stage you are in life, no matter what you're doing, it's never a bad time to begin. Because when you become the main character and you lock in to whatever it is you're working on, it doesn't take long to really get good at it. There are some elements that take a while. But if you focus on the goal, if you focus on the prize, like Paul says, focus on the prize. Like we play the game to win, right? Like focus on the prize. You will win the game. You will achieve the thing. It will happen. There's a couple of things that you can do to actually get there faster. And I want to share a few of those with you. What can you do to get to your goals faster? Well, number one, it's the main theme of this whole thing. Make a decision to be the main character. What does that mean? It means starting, not stopping. It means making decisions to be the man in the arena. It means carrying yourself at a different level. It means choosing to be great again in your life. Because there was a time where you had creativity, when you were probably 5 or 6 or 7, eager. There was a time at some point when you were eager. Find that version of you again. Find that point. Become the main character in your mind. Open your eyes. When you say you're going to do something, do it. And watch and see what happens. The second thing outside of becoming the main character is you have to build a relationship with God. Because when you do that, you recognize that you can do things that you never thought possible. In fact, not just anything, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. People don't understand that the world in which we live in, look, if you're not a Christian, you're watching this, then I'm not here to force you into any ideas, but I want you to grasp a concept here. What is this earth in which we live in? What is this thing? What does all this mean? You give me an explanation for it, and I will follow you. Give me proof of what you're saying, because I can give you the closest thing to proof, which is testimony. People, first eyewitness, second eyewitness accounts, historians that agree that Jesus existed, historians that are not Christian agree that he existed, that he lived, that he was crucified under Pontius Pilate, right? Like, these things are true. So then you have disciples who were killed for what they believed rather than denounce it. Documented. You have thousands of connections over the course of a writing that took 2,000 years to complete. Over the course of 40 different books by dozens of authors. 66 different books, dozens of authors. And you were talking about a connection in this book, a way that this has been the beginning and the end, and the way that it ties. No writing in history has ever done that. It's a miracle of a book. So then it just makes you think about the fact that this has to be something. There's something more to it, right? So when you begin to investigate, you realize it's the best possible explanation of what all this is. 3 languages, 3 different continents, 66 different books, in some countries 72, 74, 76 different books in different canons with dozens of different authors, all pointing to the same thing. Coincidence? I think not. So the point is, you have to build a relationship with God. You have to really dig into that, because then through that, you understand that you're not your own God anymore, that you can achieve it all, and that everything that you're doing, including the hardships, are there for a reason, to build you. To build you for a chapter that has yet to come, to strengthen you for something that has yet to come. And last but not least, you have to find yourself in a situation where you open your eyes and you start to see the world for what it really is. When you do the first thing, which is become the main character, and then you mix that with the second thing, which is build your personal relationship with God, opening your eyes happens naturally. You start to see the world differently. You see people for who they are, their intentions. You start to make sense of things in a way that you just wouldn't otherwise. And then now you can operate freely. Now you're no longer trapped. Now you can win. Now you can achieve. Now you're not bound by fake rules, but only instead the law written by the Lord, which is a much purer, easier to follow set of guidelines. You then are capable of overcoming all challenges and ultimately winning in your life. So no matter where you started from, you can finish on top. No matter how far down you were, you can end up victorious. That is the point. Let's play the game to win, to be the main character, to not be the 99% of people, but instead to be the 1% that wakes up, that builds a personal relationship with God, that becomes the main character of their life, that sees the world for what it really is, and then can actively navigate the storm. So, as a leader of your family, as a person that is ready to take life to the next level, the best thing you can do is mentorship, growth, development. They say that a finished musician is a finished musician. The same thing applies to a man. A finished man is a finished man. You think you learned it all? Your life is done. Pack it up. It's over. Because there's always more to know, always more to learn. That's why mentorship is so important. So if you're looking for any type of mentorship, check the description of this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, show a little bit of love. And until next time, thanks for tuning into the Dutton Mindset podcast.